Assalamualaikum. My name is Aizzad bin Mohamad Safani, metric number 2011413, and today me and my groupmate will be presenting on why being ethical is so challenging. I will now present on the introduction of the presentation. So, as we all know, ethics can be defined as moral principles to guide or to affect a person's actions, and that can be found from the Oxford Dictionary. And ethics may also be described as a set of standards for behavior that distinguishes between acceptable and also inappropriate actions, according to David. And all parties concerned, including Muslim teenagers, parents, religious authorities, and also municipal officials, are fully aware that lack of Islamic ethics is persistent, and it is a huge problem in the Muslim nations. It's a problem that has a negative impact uh, on Muslim children, as well as which causes them to astray from the path of righteousness, and also weakening their faith and encourage them to misbehave and commit crimes openly and shamelessly. These problems have accumulated. So one of the Islam's most important pillars and a major source of a community resiliency is Islamic ethics. Of course, to provide legal and ethical safeguard, the Islamic faith produce a set of universal fundamental Islamic principles. What is morally lawful in Islam is thus everything that benefits the person or the collective and does not contravene any Islamic requirement, whereas anything that causes harm is prohibited.
I'm Afaf, Qistina, Mohamad, Zamzuri with metric number 2011098. I'll be presenting one of the reasons behind the issue of being ethical so challenging. So being ethical so challenging because of the influence of social media. As we all know, social media has become a platform or a medium for people to communicate as well as to find the news, information, and for the entertainment. So social media can change people's behavior as they become addicted to it. Of course, for people, social media means to be updated every day. We interact with other people by posting the photo, the video at our account, and people can comment on it. Also, due to curiosity, some people may try to explore what is new and about trending things in order to fit in the current society or in order to adapt the society. So this may apply to the changes of the people's behavior as well. Next, the rising matter or issue regarding ethics when using social media is cyberbullying. So cyberbullying is well-known issue when using the social media. Anyone can be the victim or the bully because it all happen online and can be anywhere, anytime. So cyberbullying related to the unethical behavior in commenting people with harsh words or sentence. Even though someone tried to control the behavior, it's become challenging as it is human nature to judge, to comment others either is good or bad. Also, nowadays people often use the TikTok app to post about the story, their problem or issues as they want to share on their accounts. Nevertheless, some posts shows unethical thing where the post can be dishonor the relationship between our family and other people. They cannot control themselves anymore as long as they have fun with it. Also, addicted to the social media can lead to sleep deprivation and pornography. Some people will never sleep as long as they can watch this and that. When someone not have enough sleep, it means that he or she violate her or his own personal time, which could lead to the procrastinate in doing something. Same goes to the issue of pornography or social media, where in social media the younger generation may influence with it. The issue may change people's attitude in terms of their moral and spiritual. Hence, being ethical so challenging because of the influence of social media. So social media removes human boundaries in socializing, such as time and space constraints have no effect to it. In Surah Al-Hajj verse 30, where Allah said that, so shun the impurity of idolatry and shun words of falsehood. So here Allah commands us to stay away from the bad words or false testimonies, as well as the prohibition on worshipping idols. Also in Surah Al-Hushrat verse 12, Allah warned us Muslims in talking about the disgrace of others. Gossiping and finding fault of others is a big sin, and one must repent and apologize to that person. So it can be seen here that in using social media, we must have cautious attitude, self-awareness, and intelligent literacy so that we can avoid bad things and be ethical to it. To relate with the Islamic perspective, being ethical covers all aspects of life physically, morally, spiritually, and more, instead of any related to the religious issues like praying, sedekah, and eating halal food. So Muslims must hold on tight to the faith, to their iman, and always seek for the knowledge. In Surah Al-Alaq, verse 5, Allah said that taught humanity what they knew not. So by increasing our knowledge, we can define the good and the bad. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will be presenting on my point, which is different perception. So, one of the challenges in becoming ethical is, of course, different perception, where different perception is in this context is some people perceive unethical things as ethical, and they also support the unethical people. So one of the examples we can take is, of course, sex before marriage. Western people see this as their culture, and even boast to other people that, oh, they are not virgin anymore, I'm not virgin anymore. So for the Muslims who don't condone this behavior of the Western people, they get cyberbullied instead. They try to like warn them and things like that there are also disadvantages of sex before marriage. So yeah, they instead get cyberbullied and also get pushed away instead of getting listened to. Little do they know, there are a lot of disadvantages of sex before marriage, and an example of them are such as loss of self-respect, depression, loss of family or parental support, sexually transmitted infections, and of course unwanted pregnancy. So another example of when people perceive unethical things and support them are such as the acceptance of LGBT, especially in the Western community in the world. So Western people perceive LGBT as like something free, some sort of freedom that need to be accepted in the world. However, it does not work with the teachings of Islam. So one example that I can take is, for example, Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, which is a king of Brunei. He implemented a hudud laws, and hudud laws which is stoning gay people to death, and also like the homosexual LGBT people to death. However, the Western people see this as a threat to the LGBT community, and this shows that the Western perspective causes us Muslims to have a hard time trying to stay ethical and spreading good ethics throughout the world, as well as criticizing actions of unethical people.
So the next slide is on the lack of moral education at young age. So in today's world, we have witnessed many parents who failed to pay attention to their children's manners, as the thought of the importance of being ethical may not come across their mind. We can relate this to the viral video which happened in 7-Eleven Malaysia, where in the video the child was being unethical, he was behaving badly towards others, especially elders. However, the mother did not stop him and keep provoking him to behave that way. So that is why it is important for parents to introduce moral ethics to their children. Like I have said before, it is very important for parents to ensure that their children are being taught ethics and manners at early age. Why is it so important to learn ethics and manners from early age? So the first possible answer is that because ethics and manners help in shaping a child's character at such a tender age, because during that age is where a child's brain here is super absorbent. Their brain can absorb as many as they can way faster than it would as they mature. That's why the parents should show a good example to their children, because once the good ethics becomes a habit for them, it will remain that way even if they grow older. The second one is because learning ethics from a young age will develop a strong positive moral belief in the core of their heart and mind. At the same time, they will learn to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. Therefore, they won't easily get swayed by negative peer pressure. So the last one is to teach them to be considerate of others. It is best to let children know of responsibility at a young age so that they can get the hang of being part of the society in the future. They will understand that the world does not revolve around them, and they have to be selfless and to be considerate toward others. So this hadith is on the responsibility of parents towards their children. As we know that the children is under the responsibility of their parents until they reach a certain age where they matures and they can go on with their life by themselves.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I'm Mohamad Azman and my metric number 2014077. So I will continue to another part of our group presentation, which is in answering the question of why being ethical is so challenging. It can be seen also through the quality of leadership nowadays that brought by a leader in caring for the people and governing his country. So this is because in this modern and materialistic world, we can see the madness of human being in amassing wealth and luxury, and in the other have also set aside the question of moral value, integrity and ethics, as long as the desire in achieving it in any way. And even more so has led to the unethical leadership practices among today's world leaders. So what is unethical leadership? Unethical leadership is defined as dishonesty and injustice, participation in corruption and other criminal activities, a lack of empathy and accountability, pursuing egocentric interests, and manipulating and abusing people. Next, in this slide, we will see several specification and condition in knowing if the leaders practice an ethical leadership attitude. So one of the specification is the first, leaders who behave badly. This is when leaders shows an immoral action by committing in illegal activities such as corruption and bribery, and not showing a good quality of leadership and examples to their employees or the people under him. Sure. So in this kind of bad behavior, these things must be avoided at all costs, and even the noble practice should be done regularly and repeatedly as a daily routine in training oneself to be a leader that more accountability and transparency, and indirectly also can create a prosperous and good environment and culture working places. In addition, the second specification was the leaders allow bad behavior to be rampant. It is not necessarily that the leaders involved in unethical leadership activities, but at the same time, he has allowed immoral act to be committed by another party or people close to him without any action taken by the leaders or the employer, whose effect could be a cancer and bad culture to the community and organization. And the third was the leader who do not respect existing laws. I believe that all of law is the. I believe that law is something that is very important and an element that must be followed without having a belittle to the laws, because a leader can translate justice and harmony in the organization or community through the law, and also indirectly can ensure the society always disciplined and obedient, because of the fear will be faced if the laws was not obeyed. However, in this recent year, it has been often heard that leaders facing court charges, especially for the cases of corruption and breach of trust, for not adhering to the supremacy of constitutional and rule of law, which will give a bad image of the country to the outside world. And lastly, leader who is selfish and always wanted to protect himself by prioritizing personal interests over the public interest of the people. In this situation, it is understandable that the leaders does not have a real leadership soul. They should inculcate noble values in leadership, so that good governance can be practiced. Even leaders like this always wanted to be respected, part of themselves, and both, so that their position is always secure and not threatened, so that their greed and dirty work can continue to be carried out without any chaos or criticism by other people. Nevertheless, from the Islamic point of view, Islam always prioritizes honesty and integrity in leadership. It is a psychological commitment between a leader and the subordinate, that he will do all possible to guide, protect, and treat them equally and justly. As a result, in Islam, leadership is centered on doing good based on Bikun and Badawi's opinion. This is because the practice of ethical leadership will be promised rewards in the hereafter with a good reward. As the hadith of the Prophet Mohamad said, whoever becomes a leader among Muslims and acts with them with mercy, may Allah reward him. Otherwise, may Allah chastise him. Hadith from Hadith Muslim Sahih. So we come to the end of our slide, which is the conclusion part. To sum up of our presentation, it can be seen that there are many reasons of why being ethical is so challenging that can be taken by all parties as a lesson to stay away from the practice of unethical behavior or attitude. In addition, we as a Muslim should hold fast and strong, hold the what have been teaching and applied in Islam, and also the Quran and Sunnah that as our guidance, so that our faith is always strong and not unwavering, in order to continue to practice an ethical life. So that's all from my group, and thank you for your attentions.